Music is such a big concept in humanity. People can listen to music, sing music, play music, and even count music. Math, as strange as it seems, is strongly related to music. Math has always been the backbone of music. Fibonacci sequences, frequencies, waves, scales, chords, counting notes, counting tempos, and so much more are all both math-focused and music-focused. First, let's focus on the Fibonacci sequence. The sequence begins with 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, and 13, and those are only the first numbers in the sequence. These numbers can best be seen on the piano itself. Let's use the C scale to make things easy. 1 as in one scale. 13 as in the number of keys in between any octave. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 8 being how many keys are in between the octave and a scale, or just the white keys from C to C, since we are using the C scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 5 being the number of black keys from C to C. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's move on to frequencies. Each pitch of a sound has a different sound frequency. Sound frequencies are just the waves in wavelengths based upon the pitch of a sound. What makes this interesting is how certain sounds sync better than others based upon their given scale. For example, let's use the most common scales, the major and minor scales. Both major and minor scales have 5 whole steps and 2 half steps. Here is a C major scale. Now, if we grab the same key and change up some of the intervals, the frequency will make the scale sound a little more darker than before. This is a minor scale. Combinations of frequencies, or notes, can be called chords. The most typical chord you will ever hear are triads. Triads are 3 notes separated by thirds which skip over another note in the scale. The sound is pleasant to the ear and the wave frequencies sync. Here is a G major chord followed by a G minor chord. These chords sound soothing since the frequencies sync well. Let's compare that to a triad with a random note thrown in. Did you hear the clashing of sounds? That is because it wasn't part of the triad and the frequencies did not sync up well enough. Many famous musicians use this tactic to build up tension in their songs, in which they will usually release the tension by playing the normal triad. One final scale which is important in many genres of music is the pentatonic scale. This scale has 5 notes in each scale, which makes sense since penta is 5. A pentatonic scale is the same as the original major or minor scale, but in this scale, the 4th note from the root and the 7th note from the root are removed. Since the frequencies work so well with this scale, most people use this scale when taking an instrumental solo. With the backing track I have created for this video, let's hear how the keyboard or guitar can play the F minor pentatonic scale over this music and after soloing using the same exact notes. Scales aren't always on the keyboard or guitar. They can be played on any instrument. Let's hear the same exact thing on the guitar. First, I will play the scale, and then I will use those notes to solo. Let me remind you that these notes repeat over every octave, so the musician isn't stuck with only those exact 5 notes. Let's go to counting. Counting in music is closely related to math in numerous ways. Let's start with time signatures. Time signatures determine how many beats are in a single measure. 4/4 would be 4 beats with quarter notes, as 3/4 would be 3 quarter notes. 4/4 is the most common time signature. Let's move to tempos. Tempo focuses on BPM, which stands for beats per minute. The higher the tempo, the faster the song goes. Let's hear a song I made with a BPM of 80. Now, let's hear the same song with a BPM of 180. One last category is notes themselves. Notes in their countings give rhythm to music and make melodies catchy. A quarter note, a half note, and a whole note are the most common notes to be played. I'm only scratching the surface of math integrated in music. Musicians such as Beethoven used math to create music, and people before him did the same. In today's world, with music produced on computers with virtual instruments, music theory still applies. There is still counting, scales, and frequencies. Maybe when the sound of new music is stripped of its processed filters and pitch correction, maybe all genres of music can be more easily related thanks to its foundation, mathematics.